For those of you who are a part of the HitLab community, if you haven't met HelixVM yet, you should have, as they are one of the digital health startups that are scaling rapidly. And we're expecting big things from this veteran management team and this transformative technology. And we're going to hear a little bit about it now from Brian. And Brian, how are you doing? Are you getting any sleep? That should be the first question.
Doing very well, Stan. Thank you for having me today.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And if you could just let the audience know a little bit about what you guys do, since some of them may not be familiar with you.
Sure. So HelixVM, probably the easiest way to describe it from a patient standpoint, first and foremost. Basically, a patient can come on our platform, and if they have a low acuity needs for, UTI, ED, typical antibiotic for an infection, flu, that kind of thing, they can receive that treatment through our platform in a couple of hours at their pharmacy. And what makes it unique for us compared to other platforms that are out there is that patient is not required to have a video visit. They're not required to have a brick and mortar visit. It's all happening on our platform. And to a patient, it feels like magic. And, I always think good engineering feels like magic when it's being received. On the back end, it's clinical processes that we've built. It's backed by AI. There's patent pending software. But that's kind of the easiest way to describe it from a patient standpoint. The real specialness of the platform is from the provider standpoint. So for providers on our platform, they're able to increase their efficiency 2 or 3x. Which means that the main issue we're solving right now is the lack of doctors to see the overwhelming demand of patients, and our platform addresses that.
Brilliant! That's absolutely fantastic, and we've seen, and again, for the audience, if folks don't know this, HitLab has actually studied the HelixVM platform and verified its experientiality, its economic model, its technical components, and its clinical efficacy. So if you have any questions about that, if you're an investor or a potential customer, certainly feel free to contact me, or Brian's information is also in the chat box. But this is a verified technology platform that is commercial, it is scaling. And, I think, Brian, there are thousands of digital health platforms out there right now. And, we study them, we follow them, we monitor them from launch to liquid. And what is it about the HelixVM? What do you think is the main feature of HelixVM's virtual health platform that really is interesting to you?
Yeah, I touched upon it a little bit. So over the last year or so, we've grown by tens of thousands of patients. We've really become commercial in the last year, largely focused on a DTC or direct-to-patient model. And again, from a patient standpoint, they're able to receive their medicine in a much more efficiency-driven way. But for us, I think the secret sauce is the provider side, where providers are very good at doing medicine. They want to do medicine. They want to perform medicine. It's what they went to school for. And often the amount of overwhelmedness that the providers are feeling these days is because they're being tasked with so many things that are not medically driven. And providers on our platform, when they receive the information out of a patient, they have what I call a warmed up SOAP note, right? So a warmed up medical chart. So they're receiving all the symptomatic information on a patient, the subjective, objective, the initial plan. So when they receive it, they're getting an initial assessment on that patient from our platform, and even receive an initial treatment plan that they may or may not agree with. But it allows that provider to have a lot of the non-medical pieces of the equation taken care of for them. Okay.
And so you talked about it earlier. You mentioned that there are thousands of patients right now on the HelixVM platform. What is the platform solving for those patients? What's the main problem that it's helping solve for them?
Yeah, for our patients, they're receiving the care they need quickly. Remaining in a potentially a contagious state, or remaining in an uncomfortable state, or remaining in a situation where they don't have their gap medicine is not good for the patients. It's bad for their health. And in essence, what we're able to provide is a treatment plan for them in record time. And they can do it, again, without having a brick and mortar visit. They can do it without having a video visit. There's no appointments to set up. It all happens on our platform.
And so when you think about the growth of what we're seeing with some of these Lilly Direct and Pfizer Clinic and things like that, what kind of role does HelixVM have in helping, just a standard, everyday life science company, or maybe a standard corner drugstore, or a standard, maybe it's a nutraceutical site or something like that? How can HelixVM help power some of those groups and join the age of digital medicine?
Over the last year or so, we've been largely focused on the patient side. I mentioned the direct-to-consumer side. This next 6 to 12 months will be much more focused on the B2B side. So we already have several clients across different healthcare verticals that we work with now. Today's Thursday. I've had calls with different partners or potential partners every day this week. And what we're able to do is, if you are a health organization and you need to improve your efficiency from that standpoint, we have pieces of our model that are licensable to you. If you're in the industry and you are looking to complete the transaction with a patient, but you require a pharmacological order, medical order, whatever it may be, we can do that for you, and we're able to do it in an asynchronous way. So from a patient standpoint, that process is seamless. For example, if you're the local pharmacy, patient comes in, they may need a refill or something, we're able to provide that to them. And it allows you to complete that order with the patient. Again, better for you, the pharmacy in this case, as well as better for the patient. They can receive the care they need.
Yeah. And while you're seeing the growth of your company, congratulations on that. Not an easy task to jump into. Think about your own history. You're obviously a seasoned executive. What attributes have you brought to the equation to really help grow HelixVM the way it's grown over the last few years?
I appreciate the kind words, Stan. I would first give a lot of credit to our founder and CEO, Robert Rodriguez, who comes with several decades of healthcare experience. And I'd be remiss not to mention the remarkable HelixVM team. We just recently got recognized with an award, and in many ways that is a result of that team. I think what I bring to the table for the organization is the ability to think like a patient, the ability to see this first from a patient standpoint. And we started this organization and wanted to cut our teeth doing it from the patient standpoint first, doing it from provider standpoint first, as opposed to thinking, what do we want to add to the healthcare vertical? How do we want to make this healthcare industry more efficient? Really thinking about it from a patient standpoint. And it's our belief that we're able to do right by the patient and we're able to do right by the provider group. Everything else kind of works out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That makes a ton of sense. And, I think that's one of the things that, when we were studying your platform, we found so interesting, is that it is designed with a lot of patient empathy, and it is designed with a patient first kind of perspective, which is absolutely brilliant. And, I think that's something that a lot of folks, as they're trying to find ways to build companies, they're not necessarily thinking from a patient first standpoint. And that takes a lot of thoughtfulness and intention from the engineers that are building the company from the ground up. So that is absolutely critical for sure. We have a lot of folks, just, again, hundreds of folks watching this around the world. What is it that you're seeing that you could share as you're starting a company? You've got a company that's really growing nicely. What can you share with them in terms of, advice and things like that, given the toughness of the market right now? It's a tough funding market. What kind of advice would you give to them?
A couple of things I would say in that regard. One is, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because I've made them all. I've made them all, and we've learned along the way there. Don't be afraid to take risks. It won't be easy, because if it was easy, it'd be done already. I would say surround yourself with great people. It's no one person can kind of blaze the trail themselves, and then be open to changes as the market demands it. What you start in with the process and what's market ready eventually may be slightly different than your original vision. So a couple of nuggets there. I can tell you, while we've grown over 40,000 patients in the last year, we have a lot of growth in front of us. We're excited about that, and we still have a lot to learn.
I love that. So humility, I think that seems like that's the one thing I got out of that for sure, is humility. So Brian, again, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you guys are super busy. I appreciate your time and sharing your insights and perspectives. Take good care.
Thank you, Stan. All the best.